Alright guys, so I'm about to do some LEDs. Got some strips. I actually got two different kits. Done that before, probably don't do the same thing. One of them's a newer kit though. Never tried it. But I want to run through this. Some mistakes that I have made that I really thought I had this really good and figured out. When I did my fairing, I wired this thing great. I put everything together so that when I pulled the fairing off up here, I could just do one disconnect. One thing I failed to think about was, what if I need to remove the headlight? I don't have a disconnect here for my amber and white light. Of course, I've got my headlight disconnect, but I didn't put a disconnect for the other two wires. So, mistake number one. But that's not the purpose really of this video. I want to show y'all how much room. I got that 5-channel Clarion amp, 5520 or something like that. I can't remember the number. But I wanted to show y'all, if anybody's thinking about doing such a thing, how much room you basically have with this thing. Probably about 3 fingers here. We're talking, I don't know, 2.5, 3 inches, I guess, there worth of space if you get in the right spot. And same thing over there. So it's a kind of a tight fit. If you were to think about doing something like that. And you've got to get it really in the right spot, because here's what happens with that 5-channel. If you get it too high, you're going to start to wear. You're going to bubble up here. It's going to bump it. So it's got to be lower than that. And then your headlight's still got to go in here and everything. So just keep all that in mind. But big mistake there on my part. Alright guys, that's all I got. Hopefully I can get y'all some LED video. Maybe a little bit, put them in. And of course a finished product. But if you need some more, go get some more on MEtricoil.com, guys. See you next time. Alright guys, so typically I don't show this kind of stuff, but not many people do these front headlights like I guess I do. I've never seen this before, really, to be honest with you, at bike weeks or anything. But typically try to light up the front of my bike, and I also try to light up the radiator. We haven't gotten there yet, but this kit's going to be a little bit of a pain. These are good, got those good. They're stuck there on the sides. The problem is the center one. I want him there, but I've also got to be able to remove this bezel. Got to be able to remove that bezel, and I don't have enough wire to do that. So let me show you what we're looking at. So this is pretty much the lights, and what's happened is, compared to the way that I used to get these, I used to get a little bit more, probably an inch or so more on the tail here, the wiring, but they've shortened it. So what I'm going to have to do, I believe, is I'm going to cut these ends off. We're going to lose this, and I'm going to use some of these attachments, these 4 pins that I bought, probably like 22 gauge or something wire. I'm going to extend these. We're going to drop that there, and we're going to put these things together right there. So I'm going to get that much extra room, which is probably what, about 5 inches probably there, just in wire. So that will be the fix for that. It is not happening right now, but it will happen at some point. We're going to leave it the way it is for right this second. Really good idea just to have some extensions, or either make your own extensions, whichever one you want to do. But they do sell extensions. You can buy them where they come with two females, 1 male, 3 females, 1 male, and they even, I think they do 6 or 7 of these if you wanted them. I don't know why anybody would want that many, but you can do it. I stop most of the time at 3. But these are for sale as well, so you can buy those on Amazon. No trouble. Alright guys. Alright, looks like I'm making some clips today. Best way to do these LED lights, in my opinion, guys, is to test them as you run them. I had a kit one time. I bought 3 kits, same company. something happened in their production line. The way that they made them at one point, they had the resistors, you know, right in here. They had put them on the opposite end, so I had a bunch of lights that weren't compatible with each other. They would work individually, but they didn't work together. And the best thing to do, in my opinion, the way I do it when I buy these lights, is I buy an extra set. And I buy an extra set because you're going to get a short in one of these. No matter how well you wire it, something's going to happen. One of them's going to go bad. You're going to need one. So it's best to have some extras. This is probably one of the better tools that I've ever bought. This is probably to open a door if you lock your keys in it. An air pad. This came from Temu. Probably $5 a couple of years ago or so. Don't know how much they are now. Tariffs. Probably got them up there. But not the worst thing in the world to have. But here's where we're at. We got one up under the tank here. I've got another one. He's not going to do a lot because of my subwoofer. The plan is to put one in the subwoofer like I did last time. Highlight that. That'll be later in. We're on the third one now. And we're going to drop him in here. Then we're probably going to start on the other side of the tank. I think I told y'all I got another kit coming. I've got 36 of these lights. 36 is what I'm looking at right now. I've got an 18 and an 18. And I've ordered a new kit. It's the newest probably LEDs that they've got. They're supposed to be brighter. And they do some other stuff. And I've got 24 of those coming. And I'm thinking that those will probably go on the bottom. Because they've got the chaser feature. And things like that. So they'll probably go on the bottom. They're not the strip lights. They're more of the rectangular 6 LED light. So that's going to be interesting. And I may even put one, mix them in here. I'm not sure. It'd be interesting to see what their like combo is going like. If it's the same. If I go to red with these, if those will go red also. The chances that happening are very slim. But we'll see. But it will be 2 different units. Alright, so anyway, I just wanted to give y'all an update. Another thing, electrical tape. Not a bad idea. Get some good quality electrical tape and wrap the wires to help with any rubbing, heat, any all of that stuff. It'll kind of help them so that they're not wearing those wires down. And that way you'll avoid a lot of shorts. Alright, so we're going to keep on going, guys. Keeping on going. Alright, guys. So I really hadn't made a lot of progress here the last couple minutes. Main thing is, I've got the speaker set now. We've got an LED up there. Don't know if it's really shining through. You probably see some of it. At night, I'm hoping it'll do a whole lot better. We got our 3 there. But this is where it starts to get a little tougher. We got to figure out what to do with all this extra wire. We've got the fronts hooked up now. Everything's hooked. Still got to do the other side. So I've got one for the other side, and I've got 2. One's going to feed the radiator lights. This one is going to feed whatever I do to my front fender. That's going to be the feed that direction. So what I'm kind of thinking is I'm just going to stuff some wire down in here. Down around the ignition. We're going to try to tidy it up, make it look decent, and kind of just hide out. I think that's the plan. Alright. Alright guys, so Amazon just brought my 2 orders of this other set. This is 12 pieces, and I got one more that's 12 pieces just like this. So we got to decide where we're stopping this and where we're starting this. So this is basically where we're at. I still got to redo this one. I haven't done that. Probably do that tonight. But we got the front here pretty much done. I haven't done the radiator. Probably stick the radiator for sure with those. The side, we've got just the tank pretty much done. Daylight is tough to see them, but hopefully come tonight I see a lot going on there, so hopefully it's going to shine it up decent. Put one under the seat right there, and we just pretty much put an extension all the way to the trunk, and then the trunk's lighting up red. So we've got 3 strips on the trunk, and then we got the extension again going all the way back to this point. So this is how it starts, is here. This is actually the starting point. So just 3 of them, plus the speakers lit up. There's one under that speaker. So just need to decide what I'm going to do. Let's have a look at these new ones, see what they. So the new set, they come linked together, and then the very last one, you get 2. Oh, what's happening? I was vibrating or something. 2 of them don't have a tail. So this is the very last piece, okay? So you get 2 of these, because there's actually a left and a right. I think you can hook these up as turn signals and stuff like that if you want to. And brake lights. I don't ever do that. I'm not crazy about the brake light feature. Alright, so the big thing with these is the mode. And let's turn them on, number 1. So this is what they do. This is probably why they're more popular. And they've got music sync as well, which a lot of them do, but I think these actually have a good music sync. But they flow. So you get the flow. So the bad thing with that is you'd have to start. We got to go this way with them, because I wouldn't want them to run backwards. You know, so I'd want them to go that way. Now the question is, do I only do that on the motor to the back? And that would take about 1, 2, 3. That'd be 5. That'd be 5. Or do I go ahead and do the fender with it? That'd be 6, 7. That's only 2 more really to the fender. Because you do 1, basically 2, try to light that up good, and then you'd go somewhere around that crash bar would be 3, 4, at least 2 under the motor. Then you'd do 1 somewhere around the beginning of the exhaust. 5 would be somewhere around the end of the exhaust. And then 6, we could do 6 if we wanted at the very back. I just can't decide which way to go, because my other option is we just keep the fender with this style, and all that stays solid, and all the radiator stays solid, and then you start the flow just on the bottom. Real world problems in a Trump economy. Alright guys, I'm going to figure it out. Alright, at least it's in the right frame, so that's good. Alright, new day. We had some trouble yesterday at the end. Didn't record it, but this was the problem. This is straight from a factory in China, I'm sure. I bought some extensions and some splitters. So this was a single to a double. This was causing my lights to be a different color. So somewhere in here, there's a short or wired incorrectly. Something's wrong with this one. I don't know what the problem exactly is, but got rid of this and I made my own harness basically. So we've got a 1 to a 5 out at this point. So we've basically got 4 lines going to the front of the motorcycle, and then we've got 1 line that's going here, and then he's feeding to the other side of the motorcycle. Hopefully we're not going to have any shorts. I'm not sure if I said anything about shorts in any of the other videos, but It's a definite issue typically. So now one of those that we just hooked up is supplying this single light. Still got all those, and now everybody's correct. Now this one was a definite problem earlier. If you ever, okay, hold on. So here's the problem I had with that headlight light. I couldn't get it to give me power. And what had happened is, for some reason, typically when I put these together, typically I can say, okay, the black is going to line up with the black, right? As you can see coming out, it would be, I think it goes black, green, red, and then blue. And typically with these things, that would automatically be the case. It took me a while, but I finally figured out that was not the case this time. The orientation, for some reason, with these lights is different. So if you ever have that problem, just look and make sure when you lay this piece down, like we lay it down over here, right? Because this is the matching head. The blue's on top. The blue's on top. When in actuality, the 12 volt's supposed to be on top. The 12 volt would have been the black. So by orientation, we're wrong. Because if I were to wire it just by color, we would be flipped upside down. We'd plug him into the harness and we'd be wrong. We would be getting power at the blue. So that's not right. So always kind of flip it, kind of make sure everything's lining up. As you can see, it's not, and things are wrong. Alright, so a little tidbit there. But otherwise, I think everything else is looking pretty good. We're going to button this part of it up. Probably put my new interstate battery in, and we'll wire him up. Still got that other system to put into place, and those, you can actually split those. I did find that out. If anybody's thinking about buying this other unit, and hopefully I'll get the video up of it, and I could probably put a link, anybody ask about it. But you can split them using a single to a double splitter, like I just showed you, 1 to 2, and it's going to continue with the flow. Just remember, if you do this other set, you've got to start at the beginning with these things. If you want to use that chaser mode, got to start at the beginning. Otherwise, you're going to be going backwards. I didn't see a way to reverse it, which is kind of odd. So anyway, guys, it looked really good last night with what I've got going on here. Radiator looked great. That should really look great now. The wheel should look pretty good. Still got to work on the wheel a little bit. Make sure none of these wires do anything crazy up there. But it's there's 3 sets on each side of that fender. So typically don't do that. So that's something definitely new. But otherwise, I think we're good. This has got too much light, probably, to be honest with y'all, right there. It's not. You want just to accent. You don't want to flood it, and I flooded it. All right, so we're pretty much done. I just got to put these underneath here so that everything will work out. But looks like it's a winner. Alright guys, so I've looked at some of the clips I had of what I put together, just some different clips, see if I can make a quick movie of this. And fair. So where we're at now is, I had a ground problem. I had all this together. I had a ground problem for some reason. It decided it didn't want to come on. So I probably didn't show y'all where I put everything, but everything is run. I think we talked about what we did up here. If you were to look right in this area right here, I've got some wires. That's kind of a hiding spot that I've made for the extra wires, and it makes it a really good spot for all your junctions. It's easy access, and you know they're all there. Plus, they're kind of waterproof there. It's going to kind of keep the rain off of them if I get in the rain. The other part is this. Those of you with ABS, I'm kind of thinking that this area, there's your battery. This is your side cover over here on the throttle side. Thinking ABS people, you probably got some controls in here. For non-ABS people like myself, we've got a lot of space there. So what that is just it's a piece of cutting board, actually. If you want to know the truth, that's plastic cutting board, like food cutting board. I had it on my other bike, and it had a fuse box. If you looked at any of my other videos, there was a fuse box there. Hadn't done the fuse box yet, may not do the fuse box. But for now, what we've got is our 2 controllers in there. So that's one thing we did. The other thing is the way that we're going to control it. I recommend you get a switch. And now, I never liked putting a switch on the ground side of things, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to wire this in on the ground side. We're not going to use the power part of this plug, so the red and the black, that's just to give you power for your blue LED. Not doing that. Our strict our strict goal, how about that? Our strict goal, I'm making up words and phrases as I go, is just to have a latch. So by those green wires, we're going to have a closed and an open right there. It's going to close. It's going to let all the ground flow go through. It's going to open. It's going to stop the ground flow. Stop the ground flow. You don't have a circuit. Your lights aren't going to come on. Now, the one thing you may want to do before you, well, I like to use this when I was riding. Okay, I'd have all my systems on, and it would keep memory. So when I'd hit the on for the ground, the lights would automatically come on in the last phase. So whatever color they were on, they're coming back to that exact same state. So that's why I like it. Now, if you're parking overnight or for a long period of time, I'd recommend you turn off everything and then unlatch this. So that way you're not consuming power for sure. Because there is a chance that maybe this grounds out. Just, I don't know. I'm not an electrical engineer, so I don't know if that's true or not. If it could ground just at the switch or not. So I'm not going to say that. But that's the way I'm doing it. Once I put the cover back on, you'll see where it's at. But grounding, I was going straight to the battery. I think one of my connections just came loose for some reason. I think I'm going to use this. Shave some of the paint off. We're just going to put a bolt in there. That's going to be my new grounding location, actually, for a lot of stuff. If I do air horns, I think that's going to be the ground as well. I think that's going to be a pretty solid ground. I never noticed that hole before. Don't know why it's there, really. I hope I don't. Oh, shoot, I do know why it's there, don't I? No, I don't. Hold on. Hold that thought. No, that wouldn't be the reason. Because this is only held on by that one bolt at the top. I guess they wanted to mirror image the other side, because the other side does kind of screw from the side. So maybe that's what it is. But there's my switch that I've put in. Same as the other bike. I had done that before. You'll see it when I get done, though. So I guess that's it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this latch switch in. We're going to ground them. And tonight, for sure, I'll get some video. And I'll get some video here in a second after we put the rest of it back together. I'll try to show y'all how well it's kind of hidden with the wires. That's a big deal for me. I like to hide wires, and that's one of the problems that I may have with this new kit that I want to do on the bottom of the bike. They're more rectangular. I like them. They're very bright, but putting this style on a round bar, it's not the best thing to do, but I'll show you in a minute. All right, guys, one more thing. I use these heat shrink what do you call these, butt connectors, I guess. And what they've got is they've got everything in them. They've got some glue down here to keep water out. They've got solder in the middle. So with a heat gun, these do pretty well. Used them for a long time, never had any trouble. I think they're all probably made by the same people, so no matter what kit you buy, probably the same thing. Most of it's made in China, but they seem to work pretty well. And you don't have to get the soldering out and do all that and then shrink them. You know, it's all in one. So There you go, a little tidbit. Alright guys, so here we are, ground it out, just put the bolt in there, probably like I don't know if that's a 6 hole or what, something like that, probably a 6-ish, 5, 6. So that's done. Using the switch, this is an extra switch, this isn't the one I'm going to use, but so we're just grounding out off of everything, going into our switch. The latch right now is closed. Latch is closed, we've got electricity flowing, it's flowing back out. Lights are on. Now, we click it. The latch is now open, so now we're not getting any conductivity in the switch. Lights are off. Now the beautiful thing is, you saw they were green. We turn it back on, they come back on green. So perfect. That's exactly what I want. Again, no lighting up because I didn't do that part. If you wanted to, so if you ever have a switch that it, you know, it lights, you probably don't have to use that. You just want the latching portion, and then you can just lose the power portion. So that's that. Let's get the whole thing back together, and should be good. Alright guys, so we got the cover, we just got to snap it into place. It's still loosened up here, but that's pretty much what it looks like in there. You got a good bit of room still, nothing to worry about. You could fit a fuse box. There's a lot of stuff that can be fit down there if you don't have the ABS module down there, and I think that's where it goes. I could be wrong. So that's just going to snap in. There's nothing there that is needed, so that works out perfect. And we got our switch right there. Looks like it belongs on the bike. So let me snap it into place. We'll tidy up a little bit and we'll be done. If anybody wonders what all this is about, this is actually, I went ahead and I ran the some 10 gauge wire up under my fuel tank while I was doing all this. It's going to be for the horn. If I do an air horn, it's going to be the 10 gauge that I'm going to run to power. Alright, let's snap it up. Alright guys, so we're done, sort of. Still got to do that other kit on the bottom. The stuff you saw back here with those ponds, I've just got them there temporarily. The goal with those is to start at the beginning, down at the bottom, and run all the way to the back. Just all the way to the back. And that way I'll light up the bottom. So that's the goal with those. So everything's together. So this is what we've got here as far as, can I get in here or not? This is kind of how my wiring looks. I got a lot of stuff. That might be the amp power cable. I got a 4 gauge amp cable going up through here. So that might be what that big thing right here is. Let's see if I can out. But those other wires there on the left side, that's pretty much right over here. That's pretty much your LED stuff right there. So most of that's just going up here, and it's just right in, zoom out, just right here in this chrome area around the ignition. So that way I can just pull this off. I can find them, and if something were to be wacky, that's a good starting point to figure it out. But that's that. Tonight I'll try to get a video, finish this thing out. Under the tank, still using those strips. So that's the starting point for this one kit. Is right here. That's the starting point. There's one strip. We go around my speaker. Not a lot of light gonna come off of that one. Your third LED's up under there somewhere. I can't even see it. And from there is where I branch off into the 5 up there in the chrome. So right in this area, if I have to remove the tank, we just disconnect here, and the whole tank is going to come apart. We won't yank everything apart. So key to remember, y'all, you know, you got to have disconnects where you can get to them, because something, when it's time to pull a part off, you got to do it. So the wheel is going to light up pretty good. We're coming in right here. Here's the LED cable. And he's going to split off into 2. right in here, he's going to split off into two. I don't know if that picks up or not. I've never been really crazy about the wheel because there's a lot of wire and it can rub on the wheel, then you got trouble. So I don't like doing it this way. But I've got one strip up here, right here. I've got another strip kind of going toward a 1 o'clock, 5 o'clock angle right here. 1 o'clock, 7 o'clock, I should say, angle right there. And then we've got one more right here. And then I think there's actually one on the very back in the center, and the other side just reciprocates. The one thing that I have always liked is my LEDs up here, because it really accents those lights right there. So everything looks to be pretty well hidden. There's one, and here's one right here. So that's that. The radiator's got some lights. And I know they're not on right now, but tonight I'll get the last part of this video. So this is a Highway Hawk radiator cover. I don't know if they make it anymore. It's really for a 1600. Take a little bit to make it fit, but not a lot. Pretty much just mounts on brackets. There's a steel aluminum plate up under here. It's mounting on that, so it's cool. But what we basically got is we've got one on every side of the rectangle here. We've got one up here at the top. We've got one on the side. We've got one at the bottom, and then we've got one over here on this side. Heat's going to be your enemy in this. Try to insulate the wires as best you can if you were to do something like that. Coming on this side, we're pretty much just tank again, which this one right here, that's not good. See here? That shouldn't be hanging like that. So I might have to do some double-sided tape or something to hold that one up. Might have to do some double-sided tape on this one also. Typically they'll just kind of hang. They won't hang. Typically you could kind of just manipulate them to stay where you want them to stay. But looks like we don't have trouble with those two, so we might have to give them a little bit of encouragement, as they say. So there's three. This second one really does a good job here. It gets this chrome and does great. So here would be another disconnect to get that fuel tank off. Would be right here. And I think we're hitting a strip here. That's the end of that section. Well, no, it's not. I lied to you. We're hitting there. We've got an extension. The extension's going a long way. In retrospect, what I should have done was put about 2 under this seat. And that's kind of a mistake. I might fix it later. Now, the other bad thing I did, I put too much light back here. I put 3 strips. I've got 1 strip, I've got 2 strip, and I've got 3 strip. It's really too much. It's lighting up it's lighting up like a room. So probably not the best idea. Really 2 strips would have been enough on each side. Kept that middle out. And I was trying to compensate, and it didn't work well. I still want to put one here, and I want to put one over here to really catch that exhaust rear wheel. That's about it for now, guys. The next kit, like I said, we're just going to go from the bottom on that rail. We'll probably do 1, 2, 3, somewhere there, 4 at the end there of that frame. 5 will start right in here on that chrome crash bar somewhere. We'll probably do about 8 on the bottom, I guess. Total 16. And I'll have some left over. But that's it. That's it. These things don't happen overnight either. If you got it planned out, there's a lot to it. One more thing that I didn't show you is I actually put an LED in there. So, you know, that's just me. That's a chrome cover now, so that LED on the inside, don't know if we're gonna catch it. It's up there somewhere. Chrome is gonna really help that. It's basically coming out wire. You're gonna see if you really look, there's a wire right here. And he's just running. A lot of insulation. This is pretty hot. A lot of insulation here. Or some just wrap it in something as far as lube. One of the two, try to keep it kind of cool there. So that's it, guys. I'm done. to show you tonight, and that's going to be it. I'll put this video together to be on YouTube at some point. Alright guys, have a good one. Alright guys, I think everything is kind of together at this point. Got to put a couple of things, zip tie a couple of spots. I just finished, because it's best to do those at night. The bottom, not too bad. Got a cool kind of look, huh? Flows pretty decent. And of course it'd do other things. There is one thing I did on this side that I might change, and that is I've got one going up. So we might change that one. And it's not bothering me, but it is bothering me because I can see it a little more than I want to right here. The other side I didn't do that way. So the other side we're not up. Everything's down. And I think we might do that other side. We might switch that. Did have to Gorilla Tape some of them because they just wouldn't stick, and probably gonna have to Gorilla Tape some more. But that flows pretty cool. I need to do other things. I don't know everything it'll do, but oh, that's pretty cool. It's kind of peaceful. Man, that might be my favorite one. And like I told y'all earlier in part of this video, got a lot back there. And I didn't hit back here like I wanted to. Still gonna work on that probably. That one's kind of a cool effect right there. I kind of like that one. Now, of course, on this side, because the kickstands, you know, the bike's leaning, you can kind of see where got two of those lights right there. Even if I get it at a higher angle, well, if we stand up, we don't really see it. What else does it do? That'll probably get you a ticket. Blue and red, huh? And it's got the music feature too. The only problem with that is I can't operate my phone and Bluetooth at the same time on the radio, but I can do an SD card, so we might try that. This is a long video, huh? And we're concentrating on the bottom lights. We hadn't even looked at the top lights. That's cool. I didn't think they would turn out that good, to be honest, those small lights like that, but they got some pretty good timing. It's pretty cool. And then the other lights, of course, y'all, we got the headlights are all three done. The radiator is done. The wheel well on the front is really lit. That's the most I've ever had it lit right there. The side over here, this side looks pretty cool too. Which I guess I'm biased, huh? But dang, that speaker turned out pretty doggone good. That speaker turned out really good. See if I can find that flow just again. Oh, here's some more. This is a different group, and I don't really like that one, huh? It's kind of cool. So, I think we're going to stop it here. Like I said, I got to fix a couple things with it, but not bad. This is 5 minutes into this video, basically. And I did some more under the seat there. Put about two more strips on the rear. So it gives it that look that it's all coming from the inside. One more little feature, you know, I think y'all saw this light earlier, but see, that's the dash, that's the gas cap right there. So it almost looks like the light's coming from inside, you know, and I guess that's always been my goal, to make it just kind of look like lights were inside of the motor or something. One thing I didn't do that I still contemplate doing, but it would be it's going to be something where you got to seal it up real good so dirty air doesn't get in. But this is see-through, of course, and I've always thought about putting a light in there. I don't know. I mean, it's doable. I don't know if I want to do it. All right, guys, I guess that's it. But really like those bottom lights. It's not bad if they'll stay stuck. May have to put some 3M door trim adhesive onto them. And like I said, we're going to change that one. We're going to flip him upside down. But that's it, guys. I think I'm going to stop it there. Pretty happy with it. It's a good kit. It's a good kit. I think that kit was $39 for 12. So pretty good kit. All right, let's pause this a second. All right, guys, Bluetooth we'll have to do later. It's really not that great. The other ones do Bluetooth also, so I'd have to find the remote, make those do Bluetooth, and make those do Bluetooth at the same time so we can see what they would look like. But that's it. Go get some oil, MEtricoil.com, and guess I'll see you next time, guys.